Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Third Shield podcast. Guys, in this episode I have Ryan Swag. I could not picture a better person to come on the podcast and talk about the tactics of Pokemon Go Season 2 and the Premier Cups. So Ryan Swag is really going all out in this episode, so I highly recommend that you get a pen and paper and start writing notes because he literally gives away take action tactics. I already took action like a week ago, and my numbers, I already gained, by the way, more than 500 points just from the takeaways that Ryan gave me. I cannot thank him enough because my game has changed completely. And so far, Ryan, thank you for the 500 points. Hope I'm going to go against you soon so I can use your tactics against you. So in this episode, about halfway, we are going to battle. And whoever is going to comment the winner below first is going to get $10. So of course, I want to find out how Ryan got involved with Pokemon Go.
Well, thank you for having me, Daniel. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for doing this, Ryan. I mean, I really appreciate it. And as I said it off the camera, I have learned a lot from you. So I wanted our guest to also learn a lot from you because you are amazing, especially in Great League. I'm very thankful for your videos.
Hey, no trouble, man.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to start out with a very simple question that I ask every single guest to come on our podcast, and that is, how did you get started with Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go? Well, man, I was a Pokemon fan throughout the majority of my life, and like even throughout college, I was playing the Pokemon games, everything like that. And I started to reach that plateau where I'm working full-time all the time. Don't really have a big hobby solidified yet. And then I heard about Pokemon Go. Like they just like announced that they had the trailer, and I was like, this is gonna be the thing that I do now. And so I was following the beta testing and everything like that. I wasn't a beta tester, but I was like following all the information. And I was like looking up all this stuff on Ingress and everything, and like drawing out my battle plans for how I was gonna take over the world with Pokemon Go. And yeah, and I hit the ground running. What can I say?
And now, I want to find out if he started out with the videos right away, or he started the videos a little bit later on, or how did he even get started with videos? Oh, and guys, if you haven't watched his channel, we're gonna link it in below, so just click on it. But Ryan Swag Tips, that they are amazingly great. I mean, if he wouldn't make those videos, my PvP would be like, he really helped me out with those videos. And this episode, it really jump-started my PvP even more. So I highly recommend that you tune in and again, use that pen and paper, take action, and I would love for you to comment below or even just message me, private message me or tweet me to tell me what was the one thing that you learned from this and took action on it.
I'd never expected to do anything with videos ever. Yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, but you don't stop anytime because I'm depending on your videos, by the way.
Yeah, I don't plan on stopping. It's
Okay.
I've definitely gotten into a rhythm with it, so it's not too hard.
Good. And then, so you started, this was like back in the day when it first came out, so there was no sign of PvP, right?
Yeah, no sign.
So were you at any time wanting to stop the game and then PvP re-strengthen that or the raids, or you were always all in?
I would say I was always all in, you know, even though there wasn't PvP. I actually had like a really weird niche PvP I developed based off the gym system, but that's like, don't worry about that. The only time I really felt that I wanted to quit the game was after the first Go Fest. I was pretty tilted about that experience, but all my friends, you know, convinced me to keep with it, and definitely still with it to this day. PvP or not, I'd probably still be playing Pokemon Go right now.
That's awesome. And we'll talk about the PvP because you have given me and many others lots of values. So you mentioned also that you are working now full-time and everything. So right now with all the craziness that's happening, what are you doing for well, first of all, for Pokemon Go to keep up and able to do the videos, and then also with your job and everything? I feel like it's mushed together, and you also work for Game Press, right?
Yeah. So I got a lot of different hats going on right here. Yeah, no, to be honest, as far as COVID goes, working as a nurse in a hospital in the Fox Valley area, we haven't been hit too hard yet. And I think we're in a good position to like not get hit hard because it's like, who's gonna come up here? You know what I mean? So unless
Yeah.
there's like an outbreak in a factory or something, then all of a sudden it's just all it takes is one person spreading it everywhere.
Yep.
But I think we're in a good position, and all the hospitals are definitely like prepared, and they're doing screenings and all that stuff to flatten that curve. So so far I've been spared, unlike you know, my friends in Madison and Milwaukee who are getting slammed a bit. As far as game press goes, and then YouTubing along with working full time, that can be a bit of a challenge because like my work week is relatively spread out. They're 12-hour shifts, so it's like, okay, 3 days on, 4 days off. But when I have like my weekends, I have to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my scheduled weekends. So that's like 3 days where I can't do anything, and then Niantic will like drop an update like the day before my work weekend, and it's like I can't even begin to touch this, and people are asking me, and I want to know. So that can definitely be a roadblock. And then working for Game Press, writing articles, and then doing YouTube videos on top of that, it can be hard to push out content all the time. You have to like, you know, give and take a bit. So I'd say a lot of the time now I just make videos promoting my friends' articles. So that way I'm still like in the club and helping people out, but still doing my videos things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thank you for all the hard work that you're doing for your professional job and for Pokemon Go as well, because both is very appreciative, especially right now.
Hey, thank you.
So Ryan is one of the originals who started out when the game came out. And that means there was no PvP and no raid at first. So I wanted to find out how exciting time was it when they announced there will be PvP. So let's find out.
Oh my gosh. Like PvP came out at like the precisely like wrong time of my life. I was in school and it was like final semester, right? So I was going full time there, and then I was also working full time, and then Pokemon Go was like, what up, we're gonna do PvP now when you've got like no time for anything. So I was excited. I was super stoked for PvP to finally come out, because like I already developed my weird like PvP system that wasn't actually PvP, you know what I mean? So I was like, I was waiting for this, I was ready for this. And yeah, but it was a bit stressful at the same time too there, but definitely hit the ground running with that, and definitely got a lot of content out. Definitely helped a lot that I was part of the Game Press team too, and that we had Bioweapon, who was we had a Bioweapon, no, that's his name, his screen name at least. Yeah, so he developed Go Battle Sim, which is like a simulator, sort of like Poke Battler is, but a little bit more technical, bare bones. Like you can do more with it if you know what you're doing, but like any normal human wouldn't want to deal with it. And so his knowledge combined with the Game Press team, we were able to like figure out the Great League, the Ultra League, the Master League, like way faster than anybody else. PvPoke wasn't even a thing at this time. You had to like march out all like the different matchups, like this fast attack does this and this HP goes down like that. So we had to march all that out, but because of our combined efforts and all our different talents, we were able to definitely excel, you know, our knowledge into PvP. And then PvPoke happened, and now we're all PvP geniuses.
So now I want to find out in preseason and season 1, how was Ryan Swag's experience? And what kind of tactic did he use? Let's see.
It was pretty good, actually. The preseason, I didn't like try super hard. I was just doing a lot of experimental teams. Like if you check out like any of my Great League, Ultra League, Master League 101 videos, it's mostly me testing how good a lot of those Pokemon are, because it's one thing for me to be like, yeah, use this thing, it's tricky in this specific way, and it's another thing to actually do it. So yeah, I had a good time with that, testing out a lot of different Pokemon. Then got a little try hard here in season 1, and given like my resources and my knowledge of the metagames, my plan was to just like go hard on the Great League and then just take a nice break. If I had enough resources to build a Dialga for Master League, do Master League, but if not, don't do Master League, and then just finish off with the final Great League week. And that was the plan. It didn't go according to plan. Yeah, I ended up dipping into the Master League there because I had the Merrill event. Running kind of gag, I guess, with me is that I have like the worst Azumarill ever. So I really wanted to get a good IV spread, and I did like this whole IV analysis for Azumarill just to like spread out all the different Azumarills I could possibly want. And I went hard on the Master League to my detriment. I lost like 180 rank from that to try to get a good Azumarill. I didn't even get a good Azumarill, so. But yeah. So season 1 was pretty good, but I guess kind of salty near the end because it's like, you know, you win 5-0, you win 4-1, and then all of a sudden, just like the sky turns black. And you're going 7-1. You see that screen where it says keep battling until you win, and you're like, no, just let me, please, just no, I just want to climb. So it was definitely a struggle there, but hopefully season 2 will be better.
So this is a question that I get quite often, and I think this is the most watched video on our channel as of right now about the Master League. So I really wanted to find out what Ryan thinks about the Master League, especially if you are not level 40. So what does it look like, and what kind of tactics should you use in the Master League if you're under level 40?
So for one, if you're not, what is the cutoff? I think it's like level 37, you're able to max out your Pokemon or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not able to get level 40 maxed out Pokemon, then yeah, don't even bother with the Master League unless your goal is to just like get the Stardust. But if you're trying to climb rank, like you actually want to rank up and you're like invested and it's the Master League, so it's almost the end of the season there, you know? If you're trying to climb rank into rank 10, I would say stay away from the Master League. But if you're just here to get the Stardust, get your rewards in, maybe you already hit rank 10, so it's whatever now. I just want the Stardust. Then yeah, do Master League, run a whatever team if you want to, and that should be fine. But if you're trying to climb rank though, yeah, just avoid the Master League altogether. Don't even touch it. And if you're trying to climb rank, and you're not doing the Premier Cup, you're doing the actual Master League. So it's really nice that they got the Premier Cup now because it makes the Master League way more approachable. But if you're doing like the OG Master League and you don't have a good Dialga, like a 14 defense IV Alga, wow. 14 defense IV Dialga. So you get the best buddy break point so you can beat all the other Dialgas. Like if you don't have that going on, I wouldn't bother with Master League either because it's such a huge gap. Like you can win. I did win. I had 4-1s with my not Dialga team, but you sink a lot faster. His Dialga is pretty huge.
All right, guys. So now it's time for the battle. So now I'm going to challenge Ryan Swag to a battle with the auto selection, which means that the game automatically going to elect our Pokemon to able to battle against each other. That way we somewhat have a fair chance, although most of my Pokemons don't have double moves just because I just started the game about 6 months ago. But let's see how it goes. And now is the time to place your bets, guys, because if you bet and win, and the first person who actually put the comments below who is going to win is actually going to get $10. So get your 10 bucks by betting right now. Wow, I just got destroyed big time. But this is why we have the podcast, so we can have amazing guests like Ryan come on the podcast, destroy me during PvP so I can learn from it, and you guys can also learn from it. So now let's get back to the podcast. So you guys know the rock, paper, scissors tactic, right? Well, Ryan has different tactics as well. Rock, scissors, scissors, rock, paper, paper, and all these mix and match. So let's see his latest. So then let's start out with like, what was your strategy for Great League?
My strategy for Great League was to win.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just to keep winning. No, it's a little paralyzing to build teams sometimes because like there's so many different variables. Like, what if I lose the lead? Then what do I switch to? And what if I lose the switch? And at the end of the day, when it comes to this format in particular, because it's a blind format, it's not like the Sylph Arena where you see 6 Pokemon from your opponents and then you choose 3 based off of that. You just have to accept the fact that some Pokemon will beat you, and you just want to design teams based around like what you expect to see, and then just accept the fact when you lose. Early on, I was using Laser Brian's team from the Game Press crew. Trying to remember exactly how the strategy worked. You used Lapras, and the idea was that you'd Skull Bash Azumarill because they wouldn't expect the Skull Bash, and that allow you to flip that matchup. And then from there, things would go pretty nicely. Once I got into like rank 8, then people started shielding the Skull Bash. So I was like, okay, people know what's up now. And fortunately for me, I ran into Caleb Pang's team. If you don't know that guy, definitely check him out. He's got a YouTube channel and everything. And I have dubbed the team Caleb Pasta because like everybody copies it. It's Skarmory, Shiftry, and Meganium. And that team's beautiful. Like, I love that team. Everybody, like, I mean, people obviously use teams that aren't that team and do well with that team, but like everybody that's good has definitely tried out that team. They use it every now and then. If you try something different and it's not working out and you're like, okay, I just want some wins today, you just whip out Old Reliable, which is the Caleb Pasta there. And that's a pretty beautiful team. The reason why it works against it. What?
Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying I hate going against that team, but go on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that team's tricky to deal with if you don't know how. And even if you do, like Meganium, man, thing's a beast. But yeah, the trick with that team though is you accept the fact that you're gonna lose to fire type Pokemon, but you're not really gonna see them. So you can, whatever. And then Shiftry is nice too, because then it can bait in flyers and then wound them heavily, maybe even beat them, which sets up Meganium pretty well. So it's a good rock, scissors, scissors type team, if you will.
Yeah, which you doing lots of awesome videos on that, by the way. That's how I built my team when you did the rock, basically paper, scissors.
Oh yeah, rock, paper, scissors, and then rock, scissors, scissors, and then what was the other one? It's like rock, paper, paper. It all comes down to if you expect to lose the lead, how you want to manage that, what you expect your opponent's response to be. I'd say if you do rock, paper, scissors, you're kind of hoping that you win the lead a lot, so then you can just follow the response and just whoop them. When it comes to like a team like Caleb's, where you got the rock, scissors, scissors, you expect to lose the lead, and then you try to like mitigate your opponent's response to your final Pokemon by like baiting them with your scissors, so they bring their rock, and then you take care of that rock. Now you got another pair of scissors. Well, what are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. And what would be like a strategy that you would give away for let's go with people who are just starting out, because I know it could be for them, it could be really pain in the butt to start out in Go Battle League.
Yeah, starting out in PvP, Go Battle League, can be a bit of a struggle because there's definitely a lot of knowledge gaps going on. Like, you don't know, like, switching when to switch is one thing, when to farm is another thing, and like knowing when to like shield attacks and stuff. Like, there's fast move counting to the charge moves. Eventually you just kind of get like a feel for it, so you're like, okay, I expect this attack coming on, or like they just dropped this attack and I want to swap out, but I want to get some energy, so I'm going to like fast move them 2 times and then I'm going to swap out. So knowing to do that stuff, you just kind of develop over time. So I wouldn't stress about that too much. As far as team building goes, going for like a basic, rock, paper, scissors type team, or going for like something that's like rock, scissors, scissors, like the Caleb idea, where you got 2 similar Pokemon in the back. You can swap one in to bait its counters and then hopefully figure out the rest of the matchup. I think that's a good way to approach it. As far as good starter Pokemon go for the Master League, I mean, not Master League, good starter Pokemon for the Great League, there's a lot of Pokemon that you don't have to try so hard to build, like, you know, low level 20s, stuff like that, that you can have a lot of success with. So, I mean, I could highlight several Pokemon to you, like right off the bat. Like Wishcash is good. That's a very simple Pokemon that can wreck a lot of teams. Altaria is phenomenal. Skarmory is like the same idea, but slightly different. So those are some pretty good starter Pokemon. But yeah, my Great League 101 video just like kind of highlights everything. Updates happen, more good Pokemon come out, but the base idea, you know, kind of remains the same there. Another fun one that people would probably enjoy a lot would probably be a Alolan Raichu, because it can finesse a lot of wins on the Switch, so it's another cool Pokemon.
Yeah, what do you think about Stunfisk? Because they just released it and lots of people don't know it yet.
Oh yeah, Stunfisk. Stunfisk is tricky, because like I know it's really good, but I think in Go Battle League it can run into a lot of issues really quickly. The main thing is that it's using rock and electric, not rock, ground and electric type coverage. And so with that, like something like Bastiodon, Skarmory, Registeel, they just get like ripped into pieces by this thing. But if you end up like getting a grass type attached to it, and you know, I'm using Caleb Pasta, so of course a grass type is going to be touching that thing. Well, then Stunfisk like can't do anything at all, and that's something that you really want to avoid in Go Battle League, is having a swap in that just can't manage a counter to it. Like, so that's why Stunfisk can be pretty problematic. Like if somebody swaps in a Skarmory, they swap in Registeel, they swap in Bastiodon onto you, you swap in Stunfisk, they have no chance now. You can just zero shield them, they can shield all they want, your Stunfisk is going to ruin them. You could even farm up, get a bunch of extra energy. So I think Stunfisk is really good, but I'm a little bit iffy towards it, because at the end of the day, grass types just destroy it, demolish it, and then Azumarill can get the one over on it pretty easily as well. So yeah, risky Pokemon, but really good.
Yeah, never ever get a lock on it. As in like switch in and you got stuck with it, because then it will be destroyed.
Oh yeah. But definitely gives a lot of threat to Skarmory swap ins too, because like, you know, that thing catches you, you get caught by the Stunfisk.
Yep. Good
luck, man.
Exactly. I've seen it many times play out, especially with Skarmory. Skarmory is done basically.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that was, by the way, I'm gonna have to rewatch this, because and everybody, I think, if they haven't taken notes right now, because what you just gave away, you know, as far as for tactics and team buildings, that's awesome. And I know that you go also really deep with the IVs. Let's talk about IVs. Who is a better person to talk about IVs than Ryan Swag? So I really wanted to pick his brain a little bit, and I didn't have to. All I had to do is say IV, and he just went off, and he shared way more info than I was hoping for, in a good way. Don't get me wrong. It was amazing. And make sure you take notes, guys, because he explains the positives, the neutral, and the negative things of IVs in PvP. And lots of times, you might not want to go what the Go Stadium says about IVs, because it really depends on what role that Pokemon has on your team. And Ryan, here, take over and explain, please.
So PvP IVs, I wouldn't worry about them too much. They definitely matter, like for sure matter. But they're nothing that you have to like stress out about to the max. So the basic idea for the Great League and the Ultra League is that you have Pokemon that max out before they hit level 40. And because the attack stat has a higher weight on your CP than the other two stats do, high attack stats give you higher CP, which gives you less HP and less defense. And in order to beat somebody down, you need all three in harmony, right? So if you have a low attack stat, well, then you have much more HP and defense. So that's how that works out at a base. Things get more complicated though when you talk about like the breakpoints associated with IVs. Yeah, but base idea is you've got low attack, high defense, high HP. You should be good. Typically the HP is a little bit more important than defense. But yeah, if you use resources online, like Go Stadium's IV checker, you can see what the rank is of your Pokemon, which is basically letting you know like their stat product, because of course you could have like a, you know, like a 3-14-14, and you're like, wow, that's going to be really good PvP IVs. And then it ends up powering up to like 1470. So that's like 30 CP worth of stats that you're missing, and it's like the rank butt, even though it looks really good. So that happens a lot. So using IV checkers can definitely help you stay aware of like where your Pokemon's at, what it can do. And Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Pokemon usually matters more than the IVs. For example, I have like the worst Azumarill ever. My Azumarill's so bad that other Azumarills get a bubble break point on me. They do one more damage with their bubbles on my Azumarill, which is insanely bad. But at the end of the day, it's still an Azumarill, and as long as I'm not in a horrific mirror matchup, I'm probably going to be beating stuff that Azumarill's supposed to beat.
Yeah, that's I was gonna bring up the mirror matches is when it matters, I guess, even more.
Oh yeah, yeah. IVs for the mirror matchup are actually maybe even trickier, especially nowadays since charge move priority. So like
Oh
if
yeah.
I throw a punch and you throw a punch at the same time, who's gonna punch the face first, right? Somebody's gotta win that. And if you have the higher attack stat, you now get that priority. So in a mirror matchup, typically the Pokemon with the higher attack stat, so the higher attack IV, circumstances depending, is gonna be the one that gets that. There are things that can upset that, but in general, that helps out a lot in the mirror. But then you also have like extreme cases where like having really, really high HP can help you in the mirror matchup. A good example is Altaria. If you have a 0015, I believe, Altaria, which is like the max HP Altaria, then that Altaria can beat the other Altaria just by virtue of having that extra HP. So then it's able to beat it with the Dragon Breath damage after the charge moves. Like that's it. It lives with 1 HP and the other one is dead. You know, so you got like rare circumstances like that that can also flip the mirror matchup. Things get confusing with the Azumarill mirror matchup as well because your defense and your HP can also matter there because you're not just landing play roughs all the time. Sometimes ice beams get landed, play roughs get shielded, and now you're ending the fight on the fast move. And then because of the higher HP or the higher defense, all that blending together in a really confusing and annoying way, you end up winning. So mirror matchups can be pretty confusing.
Yeah. So, what's his favorite team or the most spiciest team that he have used last or the current season? Let's find out.
Well, I mean, season one, my favorite Great League team was Caleb's team. I wouldn't say it was spicy at first, but now it's pretty standard. But I like that team a lot. I'd say in the preseason, I really liked Alolan Raichu in the Great League. I think a lot of people expect it now, but I didn't see it a whole lot in season one here. So I think maybe season two in the beginning, people won't be expecting Alolan Raichu like they were in season one. So I think he could make a pretty good comeback. So yeah. Oh,
no, I was just gonna ask you, what do you think about now the new changes with the Wild Charge and Alolan Raichu?
oh yeah, man. I'm actually like, I'd say it's definitely a buff for Alolan Raichu as a, base idea. I think a detriment to it is that people will expect it more now. Basically, before with Wild Charge, you could actually get some interesting KOs on stuff that you wouldn't be able to with like Thunder Punch and Grass Knot or Thunder Punch and Psychic, just because of the extra damage from Wild Charge and people not shielding it, expecting something else. But now I feel like the Wild Charge will be expected, so that's a detriment, right? But it's definitely a huge buff because Wild Charge is like stupid strong now, and a lot of the Pokemon that get it don't mind having their defense stat dropped. Like Alolan Raichu, for example, doesn't care because it's gonna die really quickly anyways. So it's like, oh, whatever, man, my defense dropped. I'm still dying the moment a charge move touches me, so I don't really mind. So yeah, I think Wild Charge is definitely a nice tool for Alolan Raichu.
All right, so now let's talk about that new Premier Cup. Any thoughts on it?
Oh, Premier Cup. Yeah, Premier Cup's definitely nice. At first, I was kind of turned off by it because it looks on a surface to be even more centralized and, basic than what the Master League actually is. But the more I thought about it and the more I went over the matchups, I think it's more dynamic than the Master League is. If you already have like a super crazy cool Dialga, it's pimped out to the max, then you might fare better in the Master League just because stuff can't deal with Dialga very well. But if you don't have the Dialga, or you just kind of hate that whole situation altogether, things are definitely a lot more interesting in the Premier Cup.
Okay, that's awesome. And do you know anything about it, by the way, as far as for
Yeah.
qualifications going? Like, how would it work when we get to it?
What do you mean qualifications?
So like, because I haven't researched it at all, so I was wondering, let's say the season two starts, and then how do you get sorted against other players in the Premier Cup, or is it just going to be the same as Go Battle League?
Oh man, I haven't looked into that. I'm under the assumption right now, I could be wrong, but I'm under the assumption that the Premier Cup is going to basically be like Go Battle League, but it's a different league, if you will. But I could be mistaken. I haven't thought about that. But I expect it to have the same, ranking kind of system as before. It's just a different thing. Like, the final week of each season, you can do Great League, Ultra League, Master League whenever you want to. I think when Master League happens, which is like June 15th, then you'll have the option of participating in either at your leisure, and it'll be the same idea. But might be mistaken.
Yeah, it was sure exciting. I can't wait to test it out and see. Guys, this is the question I'm dying to ask every single player. Do you think if Pokemon Go is going eSports? Let's find out.
I think it's definitely on its way, for sure. There's definitely a lot of things on the technical side and a lot of things in the gameplay itself right now that I feel need to change before it can get there. For example, the fact that we're on that basically a gacha system with our Pokemon. You're rolling the IVs, you're trying to roll the good IVs. So that, I think, holds it back from really being an esport because you don't have the agency over building your Pokemon. And then there's also all the lag issues. So they find a way to cure that. Maybe for an esport level, have a little external thing you plug into, and it's like the no lag PvP thing you plug into. I don't know, man. They need to figure that out too, because nobody wants to watch a competitive esport where it's like whoever lags out the least wins, So
True.
But that aside, though, I think there's a lot of interest in competitive Pokemon Go PvP. I think a lot of people recognize that it's much more of a skill game than what you'd get from the TCG or the VGC. Not that there isn't skill that goes into that, because I've done both of those. There's a lot of skill, but you need hand-eye coordination and reflexes, and you have to on the fly, in split seconds, make decisions, where in the TCG and the VGC, you can just sit back and be like, I want to play this card now. I want to push this button. In Pokemon Go, somebody swaps, if you're using Toxicroak, super weak to confusion, psychic damage, they swap in a Hypno on you, and you don't swap out fast enough, that thing's toasted. And it didn't have to be, but you were too slow. So, yeah, definitely exciting game there.
Yeah, I'm happy that you said the same thing. So far, everybody is agreeing what you're saying, so that would be awesome. And yeah, the lag is probably one of the biggest issues right now. And what you mentioned about the IVs and holding up and all that I didn't even think about. So that's a good point too.
Yeah, I think I remember reading something where it's a lot of sponsors or esport organizers don't really like games where everybody's not on an even playing field. If you I don't know, play Fortnite or something, you're some weird looking dude with a gun hopping around, and everybody's on the same playing field. But for Pokemon Go, you've got Pokemon that people can't access from around the world. They got regional Pokemon. That's a struggle. You've got event exclusive Pokemon. If you got it, you got it. If you don't got it, you don't got it. So elite TMs help out with that. But then you have the IV spreads, and people use scanners to see where specific Pokemon are in their local area, and they know what their specific IV spreads are and stuff like that. And people with that kind of advantage can just get them right away. People that live in big cities just have insane massive spawns all over the place. So they've got a very large pool of Pokemon to just catch and just happen to get the good IVs. But then you got people that live more rurally, live in small cities. They don't have a constant flow of Pokemon coming into their account, and it can be a bit of a struggle, Take my horrific Azumarill, for example, it's so bad, I try not to use it that often because I'm now super aware of how bad it is. But if I had a better Azumarill, then anytime I'd be using my Azumarill, it would just straight up be better, which would get me wins. And I could tell you when I would get a loss in a game, I'd be like, yep, that's because my IVs are deficient, So yeah, that's a big struggle.
And that's a really great point. And now that you explained it and went on it, it's kind of almost like the puzzles are getting together of why Pokemon Go is releasing Azumarills in the PvP. Why is it doing all these events and the TMs and everything? And because they got that big investor group too, who came in and they're only investing to esports games, you know.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they had that, and then so now if it makes sense that why everything is kind of aligning to what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Ryan's answer because so far everybody that I asked said that yes, Pokemon Go is going esports. So guys, make sure you get better and get on it because it's gonna be epic once that launches. But what I wanted to bring up is that I loved his answer because that makes perfect sense, and I haven't even thought about that. So right now the puzzles are aligning even more in my brain from all the information I'm reading and getting. But yeah, Pokemon Go has a few new investors that only invest in esports teams or teams companies. So only invest in companies that they even take into esports or believe in going to esports. So that's really exciting. They are definitely planning on it. So, but it's on the long haul, as Ryan said, with all those things mentioned, especially the Go Battle lag. So now I want to find out about the name of the podcast. Well, there's two meanings of the name, as you guys know. The third shield means that, well, the reason why we choose the third shield is because it's going to give you just as much advantage, if not even more, than a third shield in the Pokemon Go Battle League, the podcast. And the second is because it's so common. People are searching it so often. The third shield, is there a third shield in the game? Are there cheaters? And all these things. So I also ask everybody about the third shield. So let's say what Ryan thinks about the third shield. Is the third shield existent? How can you use the third shield? Let's find out.
If you want to know how that works, so when you're playing the game and you're actually out of shields, you can get a third shield. Basically, you have to tap on the shield part 3 times, and then you turn off your phone, turn it back on, and hopefully your opponent didn't beat you by then. If the battle is still going on, then you might have gotten the third shield. So if you're desperate to get the third shield, I'd say try that out. But there's no third shield in the game. There shouldn't be. So, I mean, there's a strategy that people call the third shield. It's not actually a third shield, where you have a Pokemon with really low HP that you swapped out of a matchup, and then the switch timer goes down, and then you anticipate their charge move. Like, you see it coming. You know they tapped the requisite amount of taps, whatever you use to determine that, and then you swap to your bad Pokemon with, like, little baby HP, and then they body tank the charge move, and then your Pokemon comes back in. That's like the skill third shield. It's not actually a third shield, but it's a way to get that extra shield in. But the lag third shield, the Mystic Demon third shield, you have to, I don't know, sacrifice a goat and pray to a picture of John Hankey, but it has to be like flipped upside down. I don't know, man. I don't know what ritual these people do, but there's the mystical lag shield shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I totally agree with you. And I just wanted to clarify to all the listeners and everything, you know, because so many people searching that. So obviously they thinking that people are cheating. And I have played lots of battles and I have not come across a cheater or so. And I don't know if there's even any cheater. So it's almost like it comes down to the legs, comes down to the luck, and comes down to the knowledge, I feel like. What do you think?
Yeah, at this point in time, like when PvP Go Battle League first came out, it appeared that there was a way for people to like finesse lag or finesse to win that way. But at this point, especially with season 1, I don't feel like anyone I've encountered has intentionally used lag. Sometimes lag comes at a very inclement time, and you're just like, come on, man, like what's going on? Like, who is this wizard controlling my game here, ruining my life? But I've also had situations where like my opponent was obviously experiencing some lag, and I'm just like, well, I just win now, I guess. Hope they don't think Ryan Swag knows how to control the game, you know? So yeah, it's just, I don't know, I call it the lag goblin, it appears, but I don't think the lag goblin has a master.
Yeah. Okay, good. Glad to hear that too. Everybody said also similar answers, and I agree with you 100%. And lastly, where can people find you right now?
Yeah, they can find me all over the place. I'm on Twitter, Swag Tips, that's SWGTIPS. There's no A in the swag. Somebody already took that name, and they don't post anything. I'm also on YouTube, Swag Tips. That one has the A, so SWAGTIPS. And then I'm on Facebook, Swag Tips with the A. I'm on Twitter, Swag Tips. with the A. I meant to say Twitch. I already said Twitter. The Twitter doesn't have the A. Twitch has the A. I'm on Twitch. I also have a Patreon if you want to give some patron funds to the Swag Man. Also swag tips with the A.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for doing this, because I know you're busy, and I know that this is awesome that what you're doing, because the people that are watching your videos from the comments, and I judge what should I say, I guess the creator by the comments, and your comments are by far some of the best that I have read. So I really wanted to, have you.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what comes of this podcast in the future.
Thank you. Me too. So guys, how was the episode? I would love if you could comment your biggest takeaway below, because I really think this was awesome. What he gave us so much info, way more than I expected. So guys, even if you don't comment, I think he deserves a like. So please hit the like button and check out his channel, Twitter. We're gonna link all of it below. He has some amazing knowledge, and he's sharing it all with you. So guys, make sure to check out his channel. Make sure to check out all his videos, and stay tuned till next week, because we are continuing on with amazing guests. And good luck with your season 2. Comment and suggest the guests. We're gonna get everyone who is in the top, and we think you can get the great value out of them. So guys, make sure to stay tuned, and make sure to listen on iTunes. Make sure to listen on Google, of course, the Android, which is, what is it? Yeah, Google Podcast, or watch it on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because 3 new videos landing every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the live podcast is Wednesday, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.